Hey guys, Nick Kringas here, and today we're talking about the all-important reviews, online reviews. I have with me today Kellen Bachman, who's our client relations manager at Apricot Law. He's the expert in this stuff. He talks to all of our clients, and in particular about reviews and all things reviews related and why they're important. So I brought him on today so we can just ask him a couple questions. And Kellen, we'll get started. I have a couple questions prepared for you about reviews.
Sounds good.
Ready?
Yep, ready to go.
All right, cool. So can you tell us like why reviews are important, just the importance of reviews?
Yeah, absolutely. So reviews are only getting more important as time goes by. Reviews are very important. If you think, I don't know about you, but me, every time I'm looking to try a new restaurant, looking to try anything new, really, I am looking at the reviews online to see if it's any good. I do the same thing with hotels. It transcends industries. It is really becoming it's becoming more important in how a user or a potential client becomes an actual client. So we'd like to put a lot of emphasis on it because a lot of people, especially if they have a big case or they think they have a big case, a big injury case, something like that, it's going to be handling a lot of money. A lot of damages, something like that, they're going to want to check you out and see that your reviews are good before they hire you. So very, very important nowadays.
Yeah, that makes sense. So in essence, they probably first find you online, but then right before they're going to hire you, they're definitely going to look at your reviews versus other people that they're interviewing. And I mean, it's quite simple to me, right? If somebody has 1,000 five-star reviews versus someone who has 5 and the average rating is like a 3.5, I mean, the choice is clear.
Right.
So that's
Absolutely.
pretty straightforward.
Yep.
All right. So Kellen, can you talk about like quality versus quantity? What's more important, getting a lot of reviews, like I just actually went into a little bit, or the quality of them?
Yeah. Good question. The answer is both, quantity and quality. Like you just laid out, the quantity is going to be important because people like to see that you've been reviewed multiple times, that you don't just have 1 or 2 or 5 customers, but that you've served a lot of people, that you've served a big part of the population, and they have felt either good enough about your service or negatively about your service enough to leave a review to kind of show how you've done. So quantity is important, but the flip side of that coin is also quality. Both are incredibly important. If you're sitting at 1,000 reviews, that's a ton of reviews. But if your average rating is 2.5 stars, that means that there's quite a few bad apples in that bunch, and
Right.
so people will notice that.
Okay, that makes sense. With regards to the quality of the actual review, is there any best practices for like when you're asking for a review? Like, do you want them to add anything specific about, you know, in terms of SEO, right? Because this,
Yeah.
it does have an SEO benefit as well, especially in terms of maps. So, do you want them to include
Yes.
something?
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever you reach out to ask a past client for a review or something like that, it's always good to have them maybe mention in there the type of case, things like that. We like to get those keywords in the review, like you were talking about, like personal injury, car accident, whatever they came to you for. It's great to have those keywords in the review. Google really likes to see that. So yeah, very
Okay,
important.
fantastic. So, like, excuse me. So, like, car accident lawyer for us would be a big one. Personal injury lawyer, personal injury case. So, just to describe the case a little bit, just to make sure to get those keywords in there.
Right, exactly. You won't want to put any details or anything like that about the case in there because Google doesn't want to have any personal details or anything like that. So just those the main keywords are sufficient.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And then, does it matter where they're posted? Like, does it matter if it's on Google or Facebook or Yelp or?
Absolutely. This is one of the most important things, one of the most important conversations that I have with clients. A lot of them have reviews all over the place. So you've got Avo reviews, Facebook reviews, Yelp reviews, and then Google reviews. But since such a large portion of the market share is from Google, Google is certainly the most important. That's where people are going to find your reviews. So it's definitely important to target where your happy clients are leaving those reviews, and not just willy-nilly, on Facebook or Yelp or something like that. We want those reviews on Google because that's going to give you the most ROI for the review as a business owner, is going to be through that channel that takes up 95% of the search engine market.
Right. That makes a lot of sense because in my mind, if somebody finds you from these other avenues, they'll look at the reviews there. But more often than not, they're going to go to Google to search you. And then Google will obviously put Google reviews like prominently right on the right next to your business. And then the other ones you have to like scroll down to find. So that makes a lot of sense.
Definitely. Yeah. And I also like to say, I tell a lot of clients that it's good to make the Google review the emphasis and ask for that. But then say, you feel free to copy and paste it on our Facebook page or whatever also, so that you are getting reviews on multiple platforms, because people do read that stuff. It's good. It's just the lion's share is going to take place on Google.
Gotcha. So yeah, that's the other thing. Like, is there something that you can do with your positive reviews? Like just, kind of basically like, besides just like leave them there, or, is there anything else you can do with them?
Yeah, absolutely. Social media is a great way to sort of promote great reviews, especially ones that you're really proud of, to tout your business or tout your effort on a particular case, something like that. Social media is a great avenue to do that through. The website is also another great avenue to do that through. So we will create, a landing page on the site, or even on the homepage, we could do a slider with some of your great reviews, just kind of scrolling across the screen. Snippets from a review, things like that are great to use elsewhere too. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. And I'm just, I'm jumping in with things that I think of while you talk. I know you're the expert here, but I think it would also be easy to just take a screenshot and just share that screenshot elsewhere, because that might be like the fastest way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Cool. Yeah.
All right, cool. And then, now we're getting into kind of like the dirty world of negative reviews. Like, what do we do with negative reviews?
Yeah. Good question. Also very important. Want to make sure that you remain calm. That's kind of step number one. It's everybody's, first instinct to kind of fire back, especially if you think that the person is not being fair, and you think that they're sort of trying to tarnish your name or something like that unfairly. It's our reaction to want to spew something back at them, saying why they're wrong, but you don't want to do that. Definitely don't want to do that. I always recommend to people, if you get a negative review, take a few days and reach out to me before you respond, just to be safe, just to kind of, reset and make sure that you're not responding in anger, that you're being thoughtful as the business owner.
Right.
But it's important to respond to them. It's important to definitely acknowledge them. If you just act like they're not there, that doesn't work. You need to show Google, and you need to show other people that are going to be reading your reviews, that you are engaging with those negative reviewers, and you're trying to make it right. So even if there's no way, if you don't see any way to possibly make it right with this person, you need to try, and that needs to come through in your response. Right. So putting together a thoughtful response for reviews, where you try to make it right, and maybe leave your phone number and say, give us a call, so that we can try and make the situation better for you. Things like that are a good way to handle the negative reviews.
Gotcha. So yeah, a lot of times I think of it as like, you can sometimes turn a negative into a positive. Right?
Absolutely.
Because if other people see that you're like taking it seriously, or that you've, even if you did something wrong and you fess up to it, that shows character. And then you can say like how you've corrected it.
Absolutely. Yep. I totally agree. It's a good way to to show the people who you are, show these prospects who you are, your integrity, what you're about. It's great to showcase that, and reviews. Yeah, it's a good way to do it.
So what if, can reviews like this, can they be taken down?
So they can. It kind of depends. If it's somebody who is clearly unhinged and just trying to slander your business or something like that, There's definitely steps that we can take to get it removed. We can, we can flag it in Google as inappropriate, especially if there's inappropriate content in there, something like that. We can get those removed usually by flagging it and letting Google know, hey, this is inappropriate. But there are some situations where that's not possible, especially if the review happens to be true. For better or for worse, don't want to try and point Google or point out that review to Google and say, hey, this person's lying when really they're not. Right. Could just make things a lot worse. So yeah, there is ways to get them taken down, and we'll certainly do our best to do it. And I can walk people through how exactly to go about that, the flagging process and everything. I don't know how much detail you want me to go into here. Would you like me to?
That seems about right. I agree. And that's about it. Like, they can be taken down, but you said it perfectly.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Cool. So let's move on. So the last question I have for you is about soliciting reviews. Like, how best to get reviews? Is there a right or a wrong way to do it?
Sure. Yeah. So there's a lot of platforms that help with soliciting reviews nowadays. Bird Eye is one. Another big one is Podium. There's a few others like it. There's a lot of companies that offer chat services and things like that are also getting into the review generation business, and those can be very helpful. What I like about those platforms is that they reach out to your happy client with an email or a text message, and they'll nudge them after 3 days, and then again after 7 days if they haven't left a review yet, and then again after 2 weeks, something like that. So they're actively pursuing that review for you. It's not just like a set it and forget it type of thing. If the review doesn't come in, oh well. They actually keep trying to get that review for you, and so those tools are helpful for that, because a lot of users are not going to remember to do that. You can set a calendar invite or a calendar reminder to say, hey, remember to nudge this client about that review. But it's not a perfect system. It's not automated. It's not automatic. So those platforms are good for that. But a great way to do it is just with a personal email and a link to your reviews page on Google, and just say, hey, I hope you're really happy with the settlement that we won you, and personalize it to the client. I hope you're feeling better. I hope, this, that, the other. If you're happy with your services, please leave us a review at the link below. So I think that a personal message is a really good way to do it, and you can do that within some of those review platforms. But that's in my opinion the best way to go about it. And every user is going to be different. Some people might just be put out that you're even asking for them to leave a review, and they might say, well, if I wanted to, I would have. And there's always going to be people like that, but for the most part, people are pretty receptive to you asking for a review. They know its importance, just like we do.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, Kellen, that's all I had.
Cool.
So if you guys have any questions for Kellen, he's the reviews expert. He deals with this stuff on a daily basis. Make sure to reach out. Email us your questions, put them in the comments, what have you. And as a special surprise, we have a script, a couple of questions as a supplement to this video that you can use to get reviews, and also that to make sure that the reviews are going to be meaningful, and so that they're going to provide the content that makes your business look good and shows how you got them from one place to another. So that, make sure to look at that. And also, Kellen has a guide on GMB on Google My Business, and shows a few things and kind of recaps what we went over here and some additional information. So Kellen, thank you very much. To you watching, thanks for watching, and be sure to leave any questions you have, and thanks, and have a great day.